Hey there, what's up, my lovelies? It's Nth Dimensional coming at ya, and welcome to Ghost Sites and You. Class today comes in 4 parts: site overview, ship fittings, finding the sites, and the magnum opus, actually running the sites. By the end of it all, I guarantee that you too will be a master of the Covert Ghost Site. These sites are a very special kind of data site. They can be found in every band of security space, including wormholes. Also, they always have the same layout and feature some pretty unique and valuable loot. The layout is always 4 cans in a diamond pattern, with the warp point being right in the middle of all of them. One of these cans has a different name. That one is of a higher level and on average will have the best loot in it. But that doesn't mean it will always have the best loot in it, so it's good to check. On top of that, the high and low security sites have an extra 5th can above all the rest, and this can is actually very special. The high sec one never has anything in it, and the low sec one always has an electroneural signaler. Furthermore, these cans also don't explode, and therefore you can hack it after the site has been fully triggered, which we'll get into later in the video. I have talked to CCP about this, and this behavior does seem to be intentional by all accounts, but I don't necessarily believe that, so I think that this could change at any time, so keep your eyes out for that. Let's go ahead and move on and check out what kind of loot that we can get in this site. We got covert research tools, which are going to be mainly used for upwell structures, and you will find these covert research tools in all of the sites. It is actually the primary piece of loot that you will get. In the low and high security sites, you'll be picking up some shattered Villard wheels. These are going to be useful for things that make you go fast. And that's going to be the ascendancy implants and then the hyperspatial modules. Speaking of ascendancy implants, you'll also get the blueprint copies to make those in these sites. As one might expect, the spookier the space, the better the loot. You can also snag yourself some advanced protective technology and molecular forging tools in the null and wormhole sites. What are those, you might ask? Well, as of the decently recent industry update, there are these capital and super capital components, and this is in fact the only place to get them. So you can get the counter subversion sensor array, the electroneural signaler, that's actually specifically in low sec, the enhanced electroneural signaler, nano regulation gate, nano skill filter plate, and then for the molecular forging tools, you can pick up some isotropic deposition guides, very specifically in the better can of the wormhole site for a lot of isotropic deposition guides. And then you'll also be able to pick up the metamolecular combiner in the null and wormhole sites. Some of the big ticket items, and this is where what makes them actually really worth running, is going to be the high grade ascendancy omega, which we can see here. This, you'll get the blueprint copy for that rather, and this sells for about like 2.5 to 3 billion ISK. The Magpie and Packrat mobile tractor units. The Magpie is a really good pickup, worth about 350 million. And then the Yurt mobile depot. You can also pick up all of the high-grade ascendancy blueprint copies, which can net you a few 100 million ISK each, depending on which variety it is. All sounds pretty groovy, eh? Well, hold up right there. There's also some pretty serious dangers in these sites. I'm talking explosions, baby. One wrong move and your ship is toast. The danger of these sites is twofold. The first is that one failed hack, just a single one, will cause the can to explode, dealing a very large chunk of explosive damage. The second is that when you're on grid and not cloaked, a random timer starts that's between 30 seconds and 3 minutes. And when it finishes, a group of rats will warp down onto the site and blow up all the cans, and hopefully you along with them. After that, they scram and shoot you for about 30 seconds before warping off. As one might expect, the spookier the space, the more damage the explosions do. So in order, high sec will do 6,000 explosive damage, low will be 8,000, null is 10,000, and wormhole is 12,000 explosive. So, with that knowledge, let's talk about fitting, shall we? The first thing you need to decide is your ship ideology. There are three main ways to approach the problem of the explosions. We can use a larger ship like a Stratios or a Gnosis that can tank the damage without any extra mods. We can use a frigate and fit mods for the level of sight we need to handle. Or we can throw caution to the wind and just go with the suicide frigate with acceptable losses. Because there is sometimes a hidden timer that is very, very short, we're talking like 30 seconds here, if you fail to prepare and go with the suicide frigate option, then prepare to fail. Trust me on that one. After that, you want to decide if you're going to run with a cargo scanner or not. It's really up to you on this one, but it does change how you take on the site slightly. Let's go through a few fits that should give you an idea about how to fit for this. So first on the board is a Stratios. This is just a Stratios with no mods on it, and it will be able to handle all of the sites, including wormholes. The same thing goes with the Gnosis. Anything that is cruiser or above should be able to handle the damage. After that, we'll check out the Synesis. It's actually one of my favorite kinds of exploration ships, and it's the ship that I'm in currently. The general rule of thumb here is that it will take, for a wormhole site, 5 modules, and then 1 less module for each site lower than that. However, you can also, instead of going up to that 5th module for wormhole sites, a lot of times I just fit like slightly better modules and can get away with 4 modules, such as like a Republic Fleet Shield Extender, which is actually what we have here. Here we have a shield extender, a damage control, and then 2 rigs. And basically all that you're kind of looking for here is some kind of buffer, and then a lot of explosive resistances. And that's typically going to be the best option. You can do 1 large buffer that probably takes up a decent chunk of your fitting, and then 3 explosive resistance modules. There are sometimes you can get away with doing a buffer and then like a rig that adds extra buffer, so kind of like 2 buffer options and then 2 resistance options. But again, the general rule of thumb is 5 for wormholes and then 4, 3, 2 for the lower security statuses. So next, we're going to take a look at an Astero. So the Astero is pretty interesting in that it is able to do this for fitting armor. The bonuses of the Astero do give you armor resistances. So we're able to, with these 4 modules, and they take up all of our low slots. After that, we have a Pacifier. So the Pacifier, we again have opted to go with the armor route. This is again because the Pacifier is a little bit of a special ship in its resistance profile. It gets its base like 33% all the way across the board. Is an armor fit for a Pacifier the best choice? Maybe, maybe not. Really, a lot of this is going to be up to you. All you got to remember is that you need about 5 to 4 for wormholes and subtract 1. It's all about kind of figuring out what you want to do, what you can fit, what you're flying. It's just a lot of general rules of thumbs, and you should kind of get the idea as we go through these last 2 ships. So here we have a Helios, again 4 modules, shield fit this time. In fact, this time we've opted for kind of more special modules. We went with a Republic Fleet Shield Extender, 2 Pitham A explosive shield amplifiers. But the thing is that these are very cheap. Not a lot of people actually want the Pitham A explosive shield amps. So even though it is a dead space module, it's actually very, very cheap to acquire. So you want to keep an eye out for those. And then in a rig, we just have a shield extender. So this is another option where we went with a kind of 2 buffer, 2 resistance setup. And then lastly, we have a probe, which is very similar. We have a field extender, an explosive reinforcer, a Republic Fleet medium shield extender, and a Just X explosive active armor hardener. So hopefully that makes sense about fitting. Alrighty, now that we have our ship fit, it's time for us to undock and find the sites. Previously stated, we can find these sites anywhere in space, And the next question is, what do they look like? That's a great question. The name of the site is as follows: Size, Faction, Covert Research Facility. The size refers to the security of space that you're in order of limited, standard, improved, and superior for high, low, null, and wormhole. And then faction is whatever pirate area of space you're in. So things like Sancha, Garista, Blood Raider, all those guys. The sites are all, with an asterisk, level 3 sites that can be successfully scanned down with about 70 scan strength. It is doable with a little less, but it's not something that I would recommend. And also, because you can get 70 scan strength pretty much right out of the boat, it shouldn't be something that you worry too much about. As I was just saying, there is a tiny asterisk to this. There is an exception, which is in drone lands, the Covert Ghost sites also spawn as level 1 combat signatures. So it's only in drone lands, and it's a little bit weird. I wouldn't worry too much about it, but it is something to be aware of. These sites are quite rare, so I wouldn't recommend undocking with the sole purpose to find one. They're more like a cherry on top of your standard exploration route. Also, if you're looking for these in wormholes, it can be particularly frustrating because all of the sleeper sites are also level 3 data sites. So there's a lot of finding level 3 data sites, getting your hopes up, and then just realizing that they are in fact not worth your time. All right, so now the time is finally upon us. We've armed ourselves to the teeth with knowledge we need to take on these sites, and all that's left is to actually go and do it. So once you have found one of these sites, you're ready to warp in. You can warp in at 0, cloaked or not, or you could warp in at 20. Warping in uncloaked at 0 lets you quickly cargo scan all the cans and plan your route right from the get-go. Warping in cloaked is useful if you want to get close to that anomaly can, which generally has the best loot in it, and then uncloak and start to hack that can immediately. Or you can just warp in at 20 uncloaked, which drops you near a can and is helpful for doing speed clears if you're looking to try and get all 4 cans. From there, it's just a matter of scanning to see what you want to take and hacking quickly without failing. The can difficulty does depend on the security of space that you're in, ranging all the way from very easy green to really hard red. And to finish, let's show an example. This is a clip from my stream. Hopefully you enjoy it. Again, check us out on Twitch. We do stream every weekday. And also, if you like this content, please help support my analytics by doing all the YouTube things. You know what they are. Thank you so much, and it's been an absolute honor and privilege. I hope you learned a lot and are ready to take on these sites and make lots of ISK. All right, have a great day. Bye. Pretty cool, huh? Almost as cool as this level 3 data site, which is totally going to be a Covert Ghost site. That's the plan, at least. Give it a good scan. Cross our fingers. Hope, hope. Improved Garistas Covert Research Facility. Thank you guys for giving me your energy. It's time. Is everyone ready here? Let's get right into it. It's time to hack the Improved Garistas Covert Facility. We scanned it down. It's a level 3 site. We're going to warp on down to it. We're going to approach the odd named can. We're going to scan out the rest of the cargo containers and see how we want to take all of our loot. We will probably explode and take the damage just to show that it is possible and kind of how much it is, even if we don't necessarily need to. So let's go and warp down and see how it plays out. And we're gonna go ahead and warp right to the middle of it. Oh, before we do that, oh, we're actually going, we fucked up. We fucked up so bad, we don't have our data analyzer. So we're gonna actually do something particularly weird. We're going to throw a mobile depot down, and while that is launching, we're going to scan these cans. There's 8 million and a wet 2, not terribly good. 15 million and a high-grade ascendancy beta, all right. 3 million in pack rat, not very good. And lastly, 7 million is. So I think we're just gonna mainly go for the data bank and see how it goes from there. I think this data bank will be our second choice. So we warped in here. We started a timer that was 30 seconds to 3 minutes. We'll see how much it actually is on the replay. And right now we are just waiting for our mobile depot to finish up. And we're going to switch out our relic analyzer for a data analyzer and get going. Just a little bit of a slow down. Maybe it won't even affect us at all. Let's start hacking. So again, this will do 10,000 explosive damage when these cans eventually blow up on us. There's the first one. Actually, we're going to approach this can to try and get some damage because this is finished being hacking. So, uh-oh, there we go. Oh, we died. We died. Okay, so that went basically all kinds of terrible. It was in fact at this moment that we fucked up. So I think because they got really good shots on us because we were close by and we also micro warp drived. Yeah, they actually just obliterated us with their missiles. We didn't even get hit by any explosion. So generally, they don't do that much. But I guess having our micro warp drive and being that close to them and not like really trying to escape was a bad plan.